Hello and welcome to another SpeedPaint video. Thanks for stopping by my quaint little channel. How are you doing? I'm doing good. My work schedule is pretty chill right now. I'm trying to build up some extra content, just, trying to make myself a nice little cushion for when or if I get busy again. Honestly, though, I wish I had more time to animate or to work on some larger projects like I did last year. I actually had an animated meme in the works that I had to unfortunately abandon last November, and I don't know if I'll be able to pick it back up again. Just when projects sit for too long, it's really hard to get back into it again. I don't know if I can put myself back into that mindset mentally and be like, oh yeah, this is exactly where I left off. Yeah, this is exactly what I was doing 5 months ago. I just don't think it's very possible, unfortunately. But yeah, other than that, schedule's working out pretty well. Just a quick thanks to those who have been able to make it to my streams. I actually didn't stream last Friday, just because there were a lot of errands I had to run after I got home from work, but I am definitely going to be streaming next Friday. So if you're interested, keep your eye open for that. Next Friday, going live. So this piece that I'm working on is actually a commission for my friend Tietro. He doesn't really have any social media, so I won't be able to tag him in the description or anything, but he did give me permission to post this piece, so we are all good here. I usually like to ask in my Google form if it's okay for me to post somebody's piece, because I understand that that is kind of their intellectual property when it's a character that they own. And also, I wouldn't know circumstance, maybe it's supposed to be a surprise for somebody, and I would just not want to ruin that for somebody by posting a piece onto my Twitter or something, if that makes sense. Honestly, I low-key struggled with the sketch for this piece a little bit. I went through probably about 3 different versions before I finally settled on this one. I'll go ahead and include pictures of those so that you can see them for yourself. And I actually had to take a reference photo of myself in this pose that I wanted, which really helped me a lot. I would recommend to anyone who is struggling with a pose to either look up or make your own photo reference, because it's going to be struggling to figure out, how does the body look in a specific pose? How does the hand fold? How far can the head tilt? That sort of thing. It's different to come up with it on your own than to look at a photo reference. There have been instances where I will come up with a pose on my own, especially in art school, and somebody will tell me that is not physically possible. There is no way your body can do that. And then they'll challenge me to try, and I will fail miserably. So yeah, if you want something that looks realistic, I would recommend referencing a photo. I also learned in art school that including hand poses in bust pieces like this adds a lot of character, so I knew that I wanted to incorporate a hand pose. There's also so many different ways to include a hand that just says a lot about the character. Here you see that he is resting his chin on his fist, which, if you can imagine, gives off a very different impression than, say, if he were to be cupping his cheek with his hand. Kind of like the same leaning motion, but a fist versus a cupping hand gives off such a different impression. A good thing to consider is kind of asymmetrical expressions and poses versus symmetrical ones. Here, I've drawn this character in a very asymmetrical pose. You see that his head is tilted to one side, kind of like the lip is curling more on one side of his face than the other, eyebrows slightly raised. That is what an asymmetrical expression is, when one side does not exactly reflect the other side of the piece. So asymmetrical poses give a lot of expression to the character. Take the DreamWorks face, for example. It's kind of this stereotypical smirking expression with one eyebrow raised higher than the other. The DreamWorks face is famous in the industry for being used on nearly every single damn movie poster. And it works. It's a very smug and kind of very expressive face. So just, symmetry versus asymmetry. There's a time and a place for both. To me, symmetry in art implies kind of balance, elegance, stability. whereas asymmetry gives off more contrast, expression, and kind of an emphasis on weight. So determining which one you want to use in your piece can really change the overall tone. I personally struggle with stylizing real people into my 2D style. It's almost like making a caricature of a person, and I feel that there's always like this underlining stress, like if I include this facial feature, will they be offended even though they really have that facial feature? I don't know, does that make sense? Like, let's say you're drawing somebody who legitimately has a big nose, and they look at it and they say, oh my gosh, I can't believe you think my nose is that big. I feel like I would be absolutely crushed if that were to happen. And then I feel like the opposite is much easier, sort of adding details versus subtracting details. I don't know, if you take a stylized character and try and render them out, I feel like it looks much better than taking, you know, a photo of a person and turning them into a 2D character. I really appreciate that this commissioner always supplies me a lot of visual references, and I think that helped a lot with this piece, especially taking kind of like his real face and turning it into a cartoon in a sense. So as of right now, my commissions are open again after this piece is complete. I have a total of 3 slots open. So if you are interested in commissioning me, please check the description below. I will leave a link to my Google form. Or if you're more comfortable just sending an email, my email is jetaix.jet@gmail.com. I will put that up on the screen for you right now, because I understand it's probably a headache to try and spell. So yeah, if you are interested in commissioning me, I'm okay with drawing original characters like this one. I'm okay with drawing fan art, furry characters, and mild gore. And if you would like to check out my Google form, there are more terms of service listed there. I also would like to say that if you would like to support me in other ways, I do have a Patreon. I will also leave a link below in the description to that, so check that out if you're interested. I have 2 tiers up there right now with rewards that include, you know, Patreon exclusive feed, monthly sketch dumps, early access to comic pages, all that, so really check it out if you are interested. I kind of feel like I want to draw some fan art for next time, so if you have any suggestions, please leave them in the comment section for me. I'm really into more like video game characters than anything, which is unfortunate because I feel like there's a bit of a dry spell in that industry right now. But if you guys have any cool video game characters that I probably would know of that are just, you know, escaping my brain right now, yeah, leave a comment for me. Maybe I'll draw them in the next video. And with that out of the way, that is all that I have for this speed paint video. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a great day.